It's really easy to lose yourself in this. And AI is this cheat code. It's an ethical cheat code to literally create space and create and save energy for the right things. And I'm just so excited about where this is going.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. I'm your host, Shay Wheat, founder of Grace and Ease Productions, where we support entrepreneurs just like you to profitably scale your business with events, allowing you to make sales faster with greater predictability and less team burnout. I'm excited to introduce you to today's guest because we're going to be talking about all things AI. And I have a feeling you've probably tried ChatGPT, but perhaps you've felt overwhelmed or disappointed with the results that it kicks out. And it's probably likely because you are someone who values both efficiency and maintaining the human touch in your business. Well, our guest today is Callan Faulkner, who is an AI implementation expert and founder of the Uncommon Business, who's helping businesses work smarter, not harder, through practical AI solutions. She is known as the systems girl, and she has transformed over 500 companies across 20 industries with her unique heart-centered approach to AI implementation. Please help me welcome Callan to the Creating Powerful Impact stage. How are you?
Hello, I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Because AI is a big thing, and how do we use it in business to support us in growing and scaling and developing and all of the things.
Oh yeah.
But before we get into some of those nitty gritties and the tools and the things you recommend and lead gen and all of that,
Oh yeah.
I would love for you to first share with us your take on why AI is a part of your bigger movement in creating impact in the world.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So maybe I'll orient a little bit about my story with AI and kind of how it came into my life. So my entire career has really been spent in the technology automation space. So I've been around automation, around technology. I was working for a Fortune 5000 consulting company for about 6 years, where we would go into these big companies. They'd be using Excel spreadsheets. We'd come in, we'd build systems, we'd build automations, we'd train their team and help them get time and energy back. That was kind of the flow of what we did. I was more on the architecting sales side of that process. And my journey took me from there into the land investing space, which is a very random story for another day. But I got into this land investing world, and a lot of the land investors were a little bit more old school when it came to their operations and the way they did their business. And I've always been obsessed with how do we get the most out of an hour, and how do we save the most energy and use it for the right things. And even in my personal life, I have been so focused on trying to create a business where I'm elevated to my highest potential. My team is elevated to their highest potential. People aren't doing work that doesn't light their soul up. Of course, every day I'm doing some things that doesn't light my soul up all the time, but just really optimizing for that. And in this land investing space, it was this perfect opportunity where these guys that were a little bit more old school, they needed help, and they wanted, some guidance. So that sparked me to start my own consulting business to help these guys. And one day I was sitting at my dining room table, and I was building out a standard operating procedure document, an SOP document.
Every business owner's favorite thing to be talking about.
Favorite thing. Oh my God. I even get like a physical sensation in my chest thinking about building an SOP, and in my stomach. Oh yeah, the worst. I'm a visionary through and through, and the details and it's just so detailed in the explanation. And I got this email from this man, David, who I'm forever indebted to. And he said, come to my AI masterclass. This is July of 2023. And I'm like, okay, David, like, whatever, I'll show up. I went, and he did this whole process where you just talked about the process. You recorded yourself going through the whole process. You put it in ChatGPT. You told it to be a world-class documentation specialist that formats things perfectly and writes technical documentation that a human can easily read and understand and implement. And in a microsecond, the SOP was written. And I know a lot of us are starting to do some of these things inside of AI. And it was honestly a full body reaction for me around, if this is true and this can save me, I'm not even as worried about the hours. The physical sensation of, I don't like doing this and I don't want to do this, but I have to. How will that amplify my business, my life, my relationships, my friendships, my team, everyone around me? And it just became this overwhelming sensation of, I need to learn everything about this and take this message into the world, that this is a tool. It is here and it is affecting my life, how I carry my conversations, how I'm expanding from limiting beliefs to expanding beliefs, how I organize my business, run my business, my operations, how I hire people, fire people, train people, provide feedback. It is touching every single area of my life. So that's my long story on how does AI fit in.
But I mean, I think it's utilizing the tool to support you in living your life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's more of like, great, let's not, because entrepreneurs, let's be honest, sometimes we spend quite a lot of time in our business.
We do. We do. We're like, oh, we're the best. Let's just work all the time. If we work more, we'll make more money.
Yeah, no. So let's actually utilize the tools to support us and living life. And that it's kind of like the counterintuitive part of, that's what actually attracts other people to us.
100%. Yep. Yep. And it's this idea, and we're both working very closely with Taylor Welsh. That's how we met. We're in his group. If you guys don't know who Taylor is, he's a phenomenal mentor and leader in the business and spiritual space. And he talks about this all the time, that it's really easy to lose yourself in this. And AI is this cheat code. It's an ethical cheat code to literally create space and create and save energy for the right things. And I'm just so excited about where this is going and where it is now.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So now let's dive into like some of the nitty-gritty details.
Yeah,
like,
let's go.
Do you have some, just what should people be using? What should they be integrating into their daily operations? Like, where do we start? You've deep dived in. Where do we like optimize most in our everyday business life?
Okay. So I want to start by orienting us to bringing in AI into our life, just our personal life. Okay. I think one of the things I try to build a habit of is, the first step in our process in the uncommon method is rewire. So rewire the brain to think AI first. So where most people are right now is, we have what I call Google brain. We have a problem, we have a situation where we need to have a conversation, we're researching something, we need to learn something, and our little tiny brains go to Google and we give Google 2 words, like steak restaurant, Minneapolis. Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And Google's like, yeah, here's some. It's probably not the right result. And you're like, whatever, I'll text a friend to get this answer. Reorienting it to bring this into AI. And when we bring it into AI brain is different, because what I want everyone to start thinking about is, when you are operating inside of what's called a large language model. So ChatGPT was the first large language model that came to play. Large language model is it's the everyday human's access to the power of AI. So there's other large language models too. You're going to hear me probably talk about Claude. You'll hear me talk about Perplexity, and there's many, many more. When we enter into operating and communicating with a large language model, it is the exact same foundation of communicating with a human being. And that is how it's built. I mean, the back end of AI is really built as a neural network. They're trying to mimic human intelligence. So let's talk about life. So let's set an example. One of the examples that I use, I'm going to actually coming out with an AI Foundations course. We were just working on this morning, is preparing for a doctor's appointment. So let's say you're going into a doctor's appointment and your mom is getting a hip replacement and you're going in there. The first thing that we want to do is we want to tell AI, hey, I want you to be a blank type of doctor. So we're going to set a role in place. We're going to kind of orient, this is who you are. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give it some context. So here's a situation. My mom, she's 80, she's getting a hip replacement. We think she may need a hip replacement. These are her symptoms. This is her pain. This is what we've been told by a few different doctors. We are seeing a brand new doctor tomorrow. And then the request. So I'm going through a 4-part series here. So role, context, request. Please help us prepare for this appointment. We want to come into this appointment feeling fully prepared to evaluate this doctor. Please give us 10 questions that we could ask this doctor in our appointment tomorrow to gather more information to understand the healing journey, the timeline, etc. And at the very end, you say, write this down. If you're driving, to write it down or in your notes. Please ask me any clarifying questions that will help you give the best answer. So when we do that, we've now just essentially, you've had access to this person that evaluates doctors, or a person that helps you think through, what should I even be looking for? What's possibility? Are there any functional holistic procedures or possibilities that I'm not thinking about? Maybe we want to do some research on more current research studies that are in PubMed of like hip replacement studies and healing modalities and what's possible. And then you can enter this conversation with just more preparation because you've been able to talk to someone. Does that example make sense?
Yeah. And so I'm glad you kind of brought that up because, I'm always thinking business, right? How do I utilize it in business?
And I'll go there.
Actually utilize it in my everyday life. Like, let's find a restaurant. I think you were talking before we went over to New York for an event. You're like, I like to go and find the gym whenever I'm traveling. And so I put this into, a system, right? And my assistant goes and does X, Y, and Z and throws it into AI and bam, it goes on my calendar.
Yeah, I can show that example. So I have a prompt. So we call this, whenever you give ChatGPT a set of instructions, kind of like I just did there, where I gave it the role, the context, the request, and the clarifying questions. That's a set of instructions. We call that a prompt. So I have a prompt. It's called the Callan Gym Finder. So every time I go on a trip, my executive assistant has a standard operating procedure of all the things that need to happen before I go on a trip. Number one, he tracks down all the farm to table seed oil free restaurants for me within a few miles of my hotel, just so I have something to know. I can grab food. He'll prepare my Instacart order. He knows what I want when I arrive at the hotel. I always want my water and my beef jerky and my fresh fruit. One of the things he does though is he has a prompt. So the role is, you're a hotel concierge specializing in knowing all of the local fitness facilities. Context is that a VIP guest is staying at hotel name, at hotel address. It requires a premium gym experience. They value high-end equipment, amenities, and convenience, with the location being top priority. Ideally, there is a sauna. They ideally want an experience that is less than $30 per day for a drop-in. The request: research and analyze the top 3 premium fitness facilities within a 6-minute walk or 6-minute drive of hotel name. For each gym, provide the name, the links to their website to book, the phone number, the Instagram page for photos, the walking distance, the day pass availability, the notable equipment, and any required advance booking for day passes. Please provide your top pick and what the executive is looking for. Slow down, review Reddit and social media and blogs for day pass pricing. Please ask clarifying questions.
Oh, that's so good.
It's so good, isn't it? And it just, boom, it bops and it's like, yep, this is the gym. It have a sauna. It's $30 for a day pass. Here's the link to book it.
Oh, I love that.
It's a 4-minute walk or it's a 6-minute Uber or whatever. And it just brings back a little table of comparison. He chooses, books it, done.
But I mean, that also just goes into, when you travel, I travel a lot. I'm doing in-person events. My team's doing in-person events. I hardly ever get to leave the hotel or the venue, but to have like an SOP system of having the Instacart delivered and knowing where I could go and find a sauna.
It's all systems, right? And this is why I think we forget about our life systems.
Yes.
Because our life systems allow us room to build business systems. And it's why I like to start here, because we forget I made however much last year. I pay $1,500 a month for my house manager, and she will 100x that investment this year. And a couple of things, I use AI all the time. I'm like, I want to build a system around travel for Shelly. Shelly's my house manager, pointing to her. She's upstairs. And I talk into, there's a tool called Audio Pen. So I do a lot. I'm a very verbal processor. So I'll go into Audio Pen and you can just record yourself talking and then it gives you the transcript of anything just immediately. So you can just grab the transcript, easy copy and paste. So I went into Audio Pen and I literally started writing down, like, in a dream fantasy world, what are the things that I would want to have prepared before travel, during travel, and after travel? And I just voice noted it. I'm like, you know what? I would love to have someone go through all my toiletries and make sure I have every single thing. I would love for someone to pack my snack bag and for the plane because I don't want to eat airport food. We're not doing that.
Right.
We're premium racehorses. We're not doing that. I would love for someone to make sure I have my electrolytes and my supplementations packed. I would love for someone to make sure that they review my packing list and just kind of go through it with me, make sure that things that need to be dry cleaned get dry cleaned. They're prepping for me. They know that when I come back, I want my car washed, gassed, completely ready to go. Things that I want to be done while I'm gone, carpet cleaning, that kind of thing, whatever. So I audio penned it. I went into ChatGPT. I said, please build out every single task with a description of what that task is and give me your best recommendation as to who should complete the task. Should it be Woward, my executive assistant, who's more virtual, doing a lot more computer work, or should it be Shelly, that's in person, that works out of my home? And came back with this insane travel guide. And then it gave me prompt ideas for Woward to execute some of the things he needs to do research on for every time I do a trip.
Oh, good. I'm actually looking at a house manager. So,
Yeah.
that's probably going to be the next hire that we end up doing here for me and my
Perfect.
fiance.
Every penny. Every
Yeah.
penny.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
good.
so good. Okay.
We did life.
What's that?
I said we just did life.
We just did life. Let's do business.
Let's do business. Let's do business. Great. Thank you for sticking with me on life. Okay, so let's just start with some of the different departments. So let's just start with I've got my 100 prompt library that we're actively using right now. Let's start with sales. So
Yep.
a couple things on sales. Number one, well, actually start with marketing because I always think marketing comes before sales. So a couple things I want to talk about with AI and marketing and content. One of the things that drives me absolutely crazy up a wall is when people go into ChatGPT and say, write me an email, and they don't specify, who is this email to? How long have you known this person? Why are we sending the email? What do we want them to feel when they read the email? What do we want to happen when they read the email? What's the next action? There's so much information and context that's missing. So the first thing that I do with my clients, I have kind of two major programs. The main program I offer twice a year is called Automate to Accelerate. It's an 8-week AI program. In week 3, we do something called the brand guardian. So this is very important for every single person or entrepreneur that exists in the world. They need to teach AI what their brand voice and tone is. To do that, AI needs to understand who you are and who you're selling to and what your ideal client is. And so when AI understands what your brand voice is, then you can come in there and you can repeat. So you can say, please write this email in the tone of blank. I'm going to take it one step further. A lot of times a company, so my Uncommon business has a marketing voice. We have a marketing voice. Callan Faulkner has a Instagram social media voice, which is way different than my company's brand voice. My Instagram voice is authentic. It is real. It is actually, I'll read you the first little part of the tone here. This is the instructions. Every time I do a social media post, you are Callan Faulkner's personal brain to text content translator. Your job is to capture Callan's thoughts and experiences in her authentic voice, creating content that resonates deeply with her audience. She has a calm energy when she's typing. It's very similar to how she would write in a journal. Warm, authentic, and deeply personal, like a conversation with a close friend. Blend professional insights with intimate life experiences. Clear, concise language that respects the audience's intelligence. Balance vulnerability with authority. I've got a whole list. Every time I write a social post, it gets this, I don't know, probably 1,000-word set of instructions on what my tone and voice is. So that's my PSA on. I have a company voice, I have a personal voice, but I also have a personal work voice that my executive assistant uses to respond to emails, which is different. I'm not like, thank you so much, you kind-hearted soul, to my people. I have thanks so much, great, we'll get back, blah, 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 like personal voice. And then we have a customer success voice. So once you're already a client, you're not going to get this marketing like, oh gosh, come to the meeting and get 10x returns. It's like, my God, I've already signed up for your program. Like now it's about, having
building rapport and relationship and
exactly
the
training
journey,
it
the
on its
partnership together.
role. Exactly. Exactly. Like, what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to experience when they get these content? So marketing wise, obviously content creation, but that's just my PSA is like, it's not all the same and it's not black and white. And you have to do the research and you even have to go inside you and even know what your tone and brand is. And that's why I find with a lot of my clients, we do this work and they're like, I don't even know what my tone is. I'm like,
yeah,
great, let's do that work together. So lead magnets, downloadables, resources, guides. I mean, like, that's all pretty easy for people to understand that like this is a catalyst. I think on the other side of marketing though is really thinking about like for me is building my frameworks, like really building out, I have a master class next week. So really using, so I have an AI project, I'll call it, called Think Like Callan AI Coach. In that, I have about 15 hours of transcripts of me teaching AI in my programs. So when I'm building out anything marketing wise, I will go in there and say, how would Callan explain this? And I do this every day. I'm like, oh God, I'm exhausted. I don't even know how I would say this. How would I say this? So good. My director of growth, Kinsey, was interviewing me yesterday, and she's like, what's the before and after transformation for you personally? I'm like, I don't even know. Let me just go to my Think Like Callan. What would she say? So good. And then now my team uses it. Like my team is like, what would Callan think? It's so good. So marketing wise, pretty straightforward. Let's bleed over into sales. So sales, of course, like figuring out what you think. I love when we go to AI and then say, I want you to be Chris Voss. He was an FBI negotiator. He wrote a book called Never Split the Difference. He works a lot with objection handling and creating space and distance, and he did hostage negotiations. So one of the things I love is if you have a recorded sales call, you can feed that transcript in. And I say, I want you to be Chris Voss, and I want you to evaluate the positives, negatives, and areas of opportunity from this transcript as if you were coaching the rep. I want you to be authentic. I want you to be forward, and I want you to provide the script they said and then how you would have said it if you were taking that phone call. And then I want you to provide a guide to that rep so they can read through it and internalize it and use that skill set for the next call. Unbelievable. It's so much fun. And it'll call out like, and I do role playing now with ChatGPT. If we have a moment, I can demo that here on the podcast, but you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So this is in the ChatGPT. I'm in the ChatGPT mobile app right now. I do the $20 a month version. So I'm able to activate the voice mode. So I'm going to activate my voice mode. How you doing, chat?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh my gosh.
My guidelines won't let.
Oh no. Chat, are you good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me now?
I sure can. Hey chat, so I'm actually wanting to do a sales role play. So here's what I am looking for. So let's do a sales role play where you are a business owner and I am an AI consultant, which obviously you know. I run the Uncommon business, and I want you to be a business owner. I want you to run a commercial sign business, and you have a lot of project managers. You have a sales team, marketing team. You're considering doing my program, my Automate to Accelerate 8-week program, but you're not 100% sure on it. And we are having a sales call about it. So I'm going to be me, Callan, and then I want you to be David, the owner of the business. And I want you to throw some objections at me. And then at the end, I want you to be Chris Voss, and I want you to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses, what I could have done well, what I could have done better on the call. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great. Let's get started. Please begin whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey, David, how are you?
Hi, Callan. I'm doing well. Thanks. How about you?
I'm doing so good. Hey, thanks for giving me a few minutes today. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. What can I help you with?
Well, we were talking about you guys potentially jumping into Automate to Accelerate. So I'm just kind of calling to see where you stand on that, thoughts, questions, and just kind of wanted to be a resource here and see if I can somehow convince you guys to take the plunge, because I know it's going to be amazing.
I appreciate that, Callan. We're definitely interested, but I'm concerned about the time commitment and whether my team can handle it right now.
Well, the funny part about that is that this whole course is about getting you your time back. And I know sometimes in life things feel things feel crazy, and I can totally empathize because I've been there where it's just you're running a million miles a minute and it's like, how could I possibly fit this in? But I'm honestly prepared to even tell you that if you don't get at least 8 hours back in your week, I would give you a refund on this course because I know that you're going to.
That's a bold guarantee. But I guess my next concern is how quickly we'll see results. We're pretty stretched thin, so we need to see value soon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, David, if you gave me 2 weeks of your time and 2 hours each of those weeks just to like really dive in and really put your mind towards this, I know you will see results immediately.
That sounds promising, but I'm curious about the specific outcomes I can expect. Could you share some examples?
Yeah. So our average client is seeing about 8.4 hours back per week in their business, which if you're on that number, more than 40 hours a month, which is insane, over 400 hours a year, which is just bizarre. I mean, imagine a 10-person business that could be like 400 or 500 hours a year, which is just incredible per person. I It's really less about time too, and I want something to explain to you is it's really about that energy. It's about that mental bandwidth. So freeing you up and ultimately, like, there's probably people on your team and yourself included that are doing work that is not aligned with their soul. Like, it's not aligned with the purpose of them being on the planet. And I think so many people just get a job, they make money, and it's fine. And I don't operate with that belief. And I believe that with the help of AI, we can get people activated to their highest potential, doing the creative work, then strategic work that they should be doing. And I think AI can take a huge lift for, 60 to $100 a month with some of these tools. So here's where it's at. It's either going to happen now or it's going to happen later. You're going to call me in a year and you're going to be sad. I promise you that. So I think there's going to be some major transformation here.
Now, I appreciate the thorough explanation, Callan. It definitely sounds like a transformative opportunity. I'll need to discuss this with my team, but
all right, chat. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Can you start with the opportunities for improvement as if you were Chris Voss?
Absolutely, Callan. One opportunity for improvement would be to focus more on asking probing questions to understand my specific pain points better. Also, consider offering more specific examples or case studies early on to build credibility. You did a fantastic job addressing objections and highlighting the value. Keep up the good work.
Give me some specific examples. Like, what is something I said that maybe you would have changed? Like, how would you have said it?
For example, when I express concern about the time commitment, you could ask something like, what specific tasks are currently taking up most of your time? This helps pinpoint pain points and tailor your responses. Additionally, instead of stating the average hours saved outright, you might say, how would it feel to give back 8 hours a week? What could you or team do at that time? This engages them more personally.
Okay. Yeah, so it's literally like a sales coach in your pocket.
This is my therapist, my spiritual coach,
Right.
my relationship coach. I'm not kidding you. Like everything in my life, Shay. Everything. I've got an idea for this chicken curry recipe. Here's the PDF. Can you build me a grocery list? By the way, I already have tomatoes, and I already have zucchini, and I already have coconut milk. Build me a grocery list department by department. Hey, I'm really struggling with this conversation with my mom. Can you please be the author of Crucial Conversations and walk me through step by step how I should have that conversation? Hey, I really need to provide employee feedback. Hey, I'm really struggling with this decision. I want you to help me build a decision matrix. Hey, I'm out on a walk. I have so much to do today. I'm overwhelmed. I'm actually feeling some anxiety. Can you please ask me questions one by one that will really help me sort through what I need to do, what I need to take action on? I want you to think like Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work, and I want you to help me plan a 90-minute deep work session, and then everything else put on the radar. I also want you to help me maybe with some anxiety relieving techniques for this afternoon, and maybe some mantras for the day to help me really keep my mind right.
So it literally is, you are rewiring your brain to how can I best utilize AI to support me in living my life.
100%.
Oh my God. We could, okay, will you come back?
Yeah.
Because like we didn't even get to like touch on all the other things like lead generation and like productivity.
It's infinite, Shay. It's infinite. I'm telling you, like, I wake up, I look in the shower. I have to have a notepad in the damn shower. I'm like, oh my God, a boundaries builder. Like, I want to set a boundary with someone in my life and I don't know how to communicate it. Okay, boundaries, okay. I'm like, whatever. I'm going through my day. I'm like, world-class attorney. I just need to tap in and have a world-class attorney based in Minnesota that's going to protect me. It's going to have my best interest in mind. You just get advice from, like, what do you think about this? My friend is moving. She just moved to Miami. She arrived and her apartment wasn't ready because the apartment owner didn't pay rent. What do? I said, take a breath, go into Claude. Claude is another large language model. I love Claude. I actually like it better than ChatGPT. It's a hot take, but for right now, we're in January of 2025. It's incredible. Said, you are a world-class lease and real estate attorney. I don't even know. Ask it what to be. Be like, here's my whole situation. I don't even know what you should be right now. How can you help me? And it said, I will be a world-class leasing attorney in Miami-Dade County. Please upload the copy of your lease that you signed. Please upload any documentation about their policies. And wrote an email back to the leasing office of, this is exactly what I need right now. And this is what was in your agreement. And this is the money I'm requesting. Yeah, guess what? Bada bing, bada boom. They respond. They're like, oh my God, this was really well written. It's like, yep, my attorney will be in touch if we don't have conversation here. And it was so well written. It's just everything. And that's why I love the business examples. Don't get me wrong. It's completely changed my business. I mean, everything from, I have I had 100 surveys I needed to go through, and I'm like, evaluate these, build me a guide to what are my clients saying about this? How do we improve this program? How do I improve my mind? How do I improve? Give me, sometimes on a rainy day, give me 5 ways why I think how I've transformed people's lives. It's just, yeah, it's infinite.
Possibilities endless. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, please come back.
I will, happily.
I know you do probably master classes all the time, depending on, when somebody's listening to this. What is the best way for them to connect with you, reach out to you? And do you happen to have a gift for our audience?
Yes. So go to my website. It is theuncommonbusiness.co. You can always also follow me on Instagram at Callan Faulkner. Yes, if you go to theuncommonbusiness.co, there will always have a banner up there with our next masterclass date. And then we also have free prompts on our website that you can download. So I have a couple different ones, like I have a Ben Hardy 10x your life goal setting prompt that's available for your audience, and a couple other great ones. So go on, get some free prompts, just start playing around, just start playing. Don't be afraid of it. Get it on your phone. Get it on your browser. Get the $20 a month version, please. If you're listening to this podcast and you have a business, you can have a $20 a month subscription. I promise you it's worth it. And take a breath in the morning, close your eyes, and just say, what am I working on right now? Slow down. What am I working on? What do I need help with? Where am I stuck? What do I need to talk out? Anything. Talk out with my partner. Talk out with my employee. What am I planning? What are my checklists? What am I working through? And just start building that muscle, and then come hang out with us, and I'll teach you all sorts of crazy ways to 10x your life and business.
Thank you so much for being with us today. And I want to thank our audience for joining us on another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. I'm stoked for you to take all of these lessons and these resources you've learned here today, actually implement them, and create even more impact in your world. Until next time, have an outstanding rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast. If you are a successful coach, speaker, author, or thought leader who would like to be on this program, simply visit creatingpowerfulimpact.com/guest. If you are someone who got something out of this interview, would you please do me a favor and share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. Also, if you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Creating Powerful Impact. I love seeing all of your posts and great guest selections. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they really mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more about us? Head on over to our website, graceandeaseproductions.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. Just look for Grace and Ease Productions on your favorite platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.